Alright, let's go ahead and fold our paper into the 4 parts, just like we normally do. And I'm going to draw my lines down so that it's clear to you how I folded it. And we're going to do another example. If you're following along in the textbook, it's on page 125 and it's example 5, but I'm going to call it our example 3. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to solve and check your work. Okay, and it is going to be the equation 5/6 equals y minus -2/3. Okay, so this is a little bit more complex. We're going to have to deal with some fractions. So let's just work through it together. It will be alright. I'm going to rewrite it. So I'm going to say 5/6 equals y. Now, remember when you subtract, you actually are adding the opposite. So I'm going to say y plus 2/3. Okay, so I need to get y by itself, so just like we were doing before, I'm going to minus 2/3 from both sides. That's what I do to one side, I need to do the other side. Okay. Now, I get y equals 5/6 minus 2/3. Remember when we work with fractions and we're adding and subtracting them, we need to get a common denominator. Now, there's a couple different ways we could get a common denominator. I don't know what you're the most comfortable with. You can either say, okay, the common denominator is going to be 6, because that's the lowest number that both 6 and 3 multiply to. Or some of you might have learned it where you just say, 6 times 3 is 18. You can do your other method too if you'd like, and see if you get the same solution. And then you know over here that you are multiplying the top and bottom by 3, so 3 times 5 is 15. And over here you're multiplying the top and bottom by 6, so 2 times 6 is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. Keep the denominator the same. Now 3/18 can be reduced. And divide the top and bottom by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Alright, before we circle this as our final answer, let's go ahead and check our work. So I'm going to actually do the check in the box right next to this. So I'm going to grab my original equation, so 5/6, does that actually equal, and y is 1/6 minus -2/3. Okay. So 5/6, does that equal? And I'm going to also go up here and say, remember when I subtract, I'm actually going to add the opposite, so plus a positive 2/3. I need to get a common denominator. So again, you can either say it's going to be 6, or you could do 18. Okay, here I can see I was multiplying the top and bottom by 3, so 1 times 3 is 3. Here I was multiplying the top and bottom by 6, so 2 times 6 is 12. 3 plus 12 is 15/18. Now you may think, wait a second, Mrs. Sand, I mean, this just doesn't seem to be right. But don't forget to reduce, so you can divide the top and bottom by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5, 18 divided by 3 is 6. So this does indeed work out, and you can go back to your original problem over here, and it looks like your answer is correct. Alright, I'm going to have you do 2 problems on your own. So this is your turn, so you can put them in the boxes below here. Okay. So C is going to be H plus 8.5 equals 3.4. And letter D is -4/7 equals B minus -3/7. Okay. I want you to pause the video here and try them on your own, and then come back when you're ready to check your work. Alright, so let's look at letter C. We are solving for H, so I'm going to minus 8.5 from both sides. 8.5's get crossed out on the left. h equals, now, looks like when we subtract, we are actually adding the opposite. Okay. And when we have addition here, there's two different signs, so I'm actually going to go back to subtracting. So it's going to be 8.5, I'm going to do my work on the side, minus 3.4, 5 minus 4 is 1, 8 minus 3 is 5. Because the 8.5 is a bigger number, it's going to be a negative 5.1. Now you should go back and check your work. I'm just going to put the answer down for right now, and but make sure that you do have a check below right here. Alright, go over to letter D. I am going to rewrite this, because remember when you subtract, you actually are adding the opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and minus 3/7 from both sides. Okay, so it's going to be B equals. Now again, remember when you subtract, you're actually adding the opposite, so negative 4/7 plus positive 3/7. I'm going to move this up a little bit. So negative 4 plus 3, remember you want to subtract because they're different signs. It's going to be negative 1 over 7. And again, you should have gone back and checked your work, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to show you the check right now. Alright, so let's go back to our original problem of the day, and let's think about what our original plan was, and if we can make any modifications, and actually work through it and do our check for it. Okay, so I said originally, so let's think about the original problem. Sum of a number and 8 is negative 47. What is the number? I said try out different numbers and add 8 to them to see if I get negative 47. Now, this could take a really long time, so I think I'm going to actually revise my plan. I'm going to say create an equation and solve for my unknown. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go down and do that underneath my work. Alright, so it says the sum of a number, so I'm just going to say x and 8, so sum is addition, is, so it's going to equal negative 47. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work through this and solve it. Minus 8, minus 8, so x equals negative 47. Remember when you subtract, you're actually adding the opposite. Okay, they are the same sign, so I'm going to add them together. 47 and 8, do my work on the side. So I get 15, carry the 1. So it looks like x is going to equal, and I've got to keep my sign, so x is going to equal negative 55. Alright, so let's check and see if that actually works out. So I'm going to do negative 55 plus 8. Does that equal negative 47? Alright, different sign, so I'm going to subtract 55 minus 8. Yes, that does equal negative 47. Okay, so I'm going to say the number is negative 55. Alright, now you can try some exercises on your own.